Netanyahu looks to revive his bromance with Trump. The Israeli leader lost no time in hailing Trump's victory as history's greatest comeback. "I'm not going to start wars, I'm going to stop wars," Donald Trump pledged in his victory speech. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his right-wing coalition partners are hoping that doesn't apply to the wars in Gaza and Lebanon. They aren't finished yet, and their ultimate target is Iran. Netanyahu will be hoping to tempt Trump into backing his grand strategy to recast the Middle East, one that has no place for Tehran's clerical leadership, sponsors of Hamas and Hezbollah. He will, of course, recall that Trump was a proponent of a strategy of maximum pressure against Iran. Bibi would have woken up to the news of Trump's win smiling from ear to ear, said Nadav Strachler, a former strategist for Netanyahu. Now, he has a friend in the White House, which is a huge thing, and it can change many things. First of all, Bibi thinks about Iran, he told Politico. The Israeli leader lost no time in hailing Trump's victory as history's greatest comeback. "Your historic return to the White House offers a new beginning for America and a powerful recommitment to the Great Alliance between Israel and America," he wrote on 10th. "This is a huge victory." No doubt his effusive post was partly to make up for his faux pas in November 2020, when he enraged Trump by being the first foreign leader to call Joe Biden and congratulate him on his election win. Trump was still disputing the results and later groused that Bibi was being disloyal. "Bibi could have stayed quiet," he said later, grumbling that Netanyahu was "the man that I did more for than any other person." Even before then, Trump was irritated with Netanyahu for backing out of participating in the assassination in January 2020 of General Qasem Soleimani, the head of Iran's Quds Force, and then compounding the offense after the airstrike by claiming partial credit for the hit. Last year, Trump grumbled during a rally in Florida, "Israel was going to do this with us, and it was being planned and working on it for months. We had everything all set to go, and the night before it happened, I got a call that Israel will not be participating in this attack. I'll never forget that Bibi Netanyahu let us down," he added, dubbing the episode a bad experience. The Israeli leader has labored to repair those frayed ties with Trump, Strachler said, and he has been courting him with phone calls. Only last month, Trump bragged of almost daily conversations with Netanyahu, saying he has a very good relationship with the Israeli leader. He told a rally, "Bibi called me yesterday, called me the day before." He added that Netanyahu wants my views on tea things, and he promised he would work very closely with Bibi once back in the White House. Despite the punchy line on stopping wars, Trump seems open to more Israeli action. The president-elect has also said Netanyahu must finish the problem in its war against Hamas. During the campaign, Trump criticized the Biden administration for opposing any idea of Israel striking Iran's nuclear or oil facilities in response to an Iranian missile attack on Israel. Lawmakers from Netanyahu's Likud party, as well as the far-right and religious nationalists in his rambunctious coalition, have been pushing for military operations to be maintained at full tilt until Hamas has been obliterated. They have also been dismissive of Biden and European demands for a day-after plan in Gaza, involving genuine negotiations for the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. During a visit to the U.S. Congress at the end of July, Netanyahu paid tribute to Trump, thanking him for everything he had done for Israel during his first term. That was a reference to the bonanza Israel received from Trump, including his decision to move the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, his withdrawal from the Iranian nuclear deal, and his recognition of both illegal settlements in the West Bank and Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Earlier this year, Strachler told Politico that his former boss had packed into his planning the chances of Trump securing re-election. Now, he said, Bibi's playbook is being fulfilled. He's getting to the end of the year with a broader political coalition. He's strong in Lebanon. He's finished off Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, and others. And he's got Trump in the White House. With Biden gone, there will likely be few constraints on Netanyahu. Not that he or his aides reckon that Trump will always see eye to eye with Netanyahu, and will give him total free rein. Trump is always transactional and will put his interests first, and is highly unpredictable, said a senior Israeli official, speaking confidentially. But their thinking and instincts are much more aligned than Netanyahu's were with Biden, he added. While Trump's win was greeted with glee by right-wing politicians in Israel, the reactions from Lebanese leaders and the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas were much more subdued. Abbas congratulated Trump and added in a statement, "We are confident that the United States will support, under your leadership, the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people." Israeli strikes kill at least 40 in East Lebanon Health Ministry. At least 40 people were killed in Israeli strikes in eastern Lebanon on Wednesday, according to the Lebanese Health Ministry. An Israeli official said the strikes in the governorates of Baalbek and Bekaa targeted operatives of the Iran-backed armed group Hezbollah. Lebanon's culture minister said one of the strikes also seriously damaged an Ottoman-era building in the vicinity of the Roman ruins in the city of Baalbek, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Israeli strikes also hit southern Beirut on Wednesday, after the IDF issued evacuation warnings. The military said it struck Hezbollah command centers, weapons stores and other infrastructure. A later IDF warning covered 4 neighborhoods in southern Beirut, including an area near Lebanon's international airport, which has continued to operate despite Israel's airstrikes on the capital city. Soon after, pictures showed a large fireball and thick black smoke rising into the night sky above Beirut. Meanwhile, a rocket fired by Hezbollah fighters from Lebanon killed an Israeli man near a kibbutz in northern Israel, paramedics said. Lebanon's Civil Defense Agency has also said the bodies of 30 people were recovered from a 4-story apartment building hit by an Israeli strike on Tuesday evening that destroyed one side of the building and sparked a fire. The building, in Barja, a predominantly Sunni Muslim coastal town south of Beirut, was reportedly housing displaced people. The Israeli military said it had struck terror infrastructure belonging to Hezbollah. A man who lived on one of the upper floors of the apartment building that was hit said his son and wife were injured by falling masonry. "These rocks that you see here weigh 100 kilograms. They fell on a 13 kilograms kid," Musa Zahran told Reuters news agency as he surveyed the damage. "I removed the rocks and handed my son to the civil defense through the window. I carried my wife and came downstairs and got out behind the B building. I thank God, glory be to him, for this miracle." An Irish Times correspondent cited a member of the civil defense at the scene as saying that those killed whose bodies were found complete included 7 women and 3 children, a 7-month-old baby, and 2 girls aged 7 and 12. Neighbors also said the building was housing displaced people who had fled from other areas, she added. There was no evacuation warning ahead of the strike, according to Reuters. The Lebanese Health Ministry gave a preliminary death toll of 20 from the strike on Barja late on Tuesday, but did not provide an updated figure on Wednesday. On Wednesday evening, the ministry said 40 people had been killed, and 53 others injured in a series of Israeli strikes in Bekaa and Baalbek governorates, which make up most of the eastern Bekaa Valley. They included 16 people killed in the village of Nasriya, and 11 in Baalbek city, it added. Lebanese Culture Minister Mohammed Mortada also told the Director General of UNESCO that one of the strikes had caused serious damage to the ancient Manshia building in Baalbek city, which he said dated back to the Ottoman period and was located in the vicinity of the ruins of several Roman temples. The destruction of this exceptional monument next to a UNESCO World Heritage Site is an irremediable loss for Lebanon and for World Heritage, he warned. An AFP news agency correspondent also reported that the famous 19th-century Palmyra Hotel near the Roman ruins was damaged by nearby strikes, which the health ministry said killed 2 people. An Israeli military official said its aircraft had carried out strikes based on precise intelligence, indicating the presence of Hezbollah operatives in the Baalbek area. The military also said it had killed the commander of Hezbollah's forces in the southern border region of Qayyam, and that a number of other Hezbollah fighters had been killed by airstrikes and by troops operating inside southern Lebanon over the past day. Meanwhile, Hezbollah's new Secretary General, Naim Qassem, said in a speech that the group had tens of thousands of trained resistance combatants ready to fight, and that nowhere in Israel was beyond the reach of our drones and missiles. I will tell you very clearly, our conviction is that only one thing can stop this war of aggression, and that is the battlefield, he declared, adding that he did not believe political action would end the conflict. The Israeli military said Hezbollah fired about 170 rockets into northern and central Israel on Wednesday. In the evening, the Magen David Adom ambulance service said a man was killed by a rocket near the kibbutz of Kfar Masarik, which is south of the coastal town of Acre. Paramedics said the man was found in a field with severe shrapnel wounds and that he was pronounced dead at the scene. Later, Israeli media identified him as Sivan Saadeh, an 18-year-old resident of Kfar Masarik, who had been working in the field. Also on Wednesday, Israeli media said one rocket hit a car park near Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion International Airport, but the Israel Airport authorities said its operations were not affected. Hezbollah said it targeted the Tzrifin military base near the airport. A large section of a rocket also hit a parked car in the town of Ra'anana, just north of Tel Aviv. Since the escalation of the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah 6 weeks ago, at least 2,400 people have been killed and more than 1.2 million displaced across Lebanon, according to Lebanese authorities. Israeli airstrikes have eliminated most of the group's leadership, including Qassem's predecessor Hassan Nasrallah, and caused widespread destruction in parts of southern and eastern Lebanon and Beirut's southern suburbs, areas where Hezbollah has a strong presence. Israel went on the offensive against Hezbollah after almost a year of cross-border fighting sparked by the war in Gaza. It says it wants to ensure the safe return of tens of thousands of residents of northern Israeli border areas displaced by rocket attacks, which Hezbollah launched in support of Palestinians the day after its ally Hamas's deadly attack on Israel on October 7, 2023. Israeli authorities say more than 70 people have been killed by Hezbollah attacks in Israel and the occupied Golan Heights over the past